Okay, so I am getting this screen set up here so everybody can see me. And I'm making sure that we've got everybody in here. Also, I want to check my sound. Make sure that's good. All right, so for anybody that's waiting, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys come in. Okay. Checking with everybody before I get started. Move my coffee right there. Well, it's actually tea. Go. I appreciate your patience as I get everything lined up. All right. Okay, let's get these audio settings set up. All right. I think that took care of all of the settings. You all, thank you so much for your patience. I wanted to make sure that I got everything set up before we got started. And if someone's having a problem hearing, then just go ahead and let me know that in the chat, or you could raise your hand so that I would be aware. Okay, so we're getting ready to get started with the You've Got Questions, We've Got Answers seminar. It has to do with real estate and land title questions specifically, as I'm a licensed realtor, but I'm also a land professional and a licensed land title examiner. That's a dual role, a dual agency, a dual profession and expertise. So, as we get started here, you can go to my social media platforms. You can go to my YouTube Live, or you can go to the Facebook that I have on Battle Jacqueline and Jacqueline Battle as well. And you'll see a flyer there entitled You've Got Real Estate and Land Title Questions, I've Got Answers. If you scan the QR code, you'll be able to register for and become a part of this recording that I'm doing now. And you'll be a part of this audience, this population, which will give you the opportunity to get the digital download of all of the information that we're going to be sharing here. Now, we're going to be sharing specifics, not just general information, but specifics as it pertains to people who already own land or people who are interested in purchasing land for various reasons, maybe for cannabis purposes, for other natural resource purposes. You want to purchase land because you want to set yourself up so that you can be self-sustaining as we move into a different era of how things are produced here, and commerce and such things. You want to put yourself in a position where you're independently sustained, and so you want to purchase land for that. Or again, you're already a landowner. You maybe have family land. You want to know how you can monetize that. All of that will be answered in this seminar. We're even going to talk about financing and how you can obtain financing just for land, even those who may be marginal as far as income and credit issues. We're going to have it all in this seminar. And it's called, You've Got Real Estate and Land Title Questions. I've got your answers. So if you're interested, go to any of my social media platforms, look for the flyer that advertises this event, scan the QR code and register, and we will meet you in the event. Thanks a lot. Share. Okay. So now that we've gotten them out of the way, and I appreciate you guys for participating with me in that live commercial, we're going to go ahead and get started. I was trying to give everybody a chance to get logged in, but this is what I want you to know. Even though I may start without you, you're not going to miss anything. You're not going to miss anything because if you're registered, you're automatically going to get a copy of this recording along with the little digital booklet. Now, in that digital download, it'll have the links to various lenders that are participating in loaning as it regards to land. So without any further delay, let's get moving. Okay, so I'm Jacqueline Battle. I am a land title agent. What that means is that I examine the title history of property, but I not only examine the title history, I'm able to write coverage that will cover the owner against any future claims against their land for any previous title issues that may be on the title. Not only that, I'm a licensed land professional, I'm a licensed realtor, and I specialize in listing and selling land. All right, so what we want to talk about initially, because a lot of people want to know how to own land. They want to know, how can I purchase land? I mean, I've gone to my banker and they're not willing to finance it because maybe it has a building on it or improvement on it. And the improvement, it doesn't bear enough value to cover the rest of the land. So lenders, basic conventional lenders, don't like to commit themselves to loan money on property where the house or the improvement that's on the land is less in value than the balance of the land. So they'll normally count the house in 5 acres. If the house in 5 acres has less value than the balance of the land, they're not going to do it. If the land carries more value than the house, they won't do it. But we've got some lenders that specialize in financing land. Okay. Oh, looks like somebody's trying to be admitted. Let me let them in, and then we will carry on. Okay. All right. All right. So all of these questions that I'm about to be asking during this seminar, there are questions that have come into us. Oh, and let me give you the directives. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to record for maybe 30 to 40 minutes. Then you'll see me go out. When I go out, you should go into a waiting room. You should be set up into a waiting room. When I go out, you should be set up in a waiting room so that as you're in the waiting room, I am downloading and converting what we just recorded, preparing it for you as a link so that I can send it to you at the end of the seminar. Then I'll come back in. I'll probably be wearing something different. So we're going to do a little game throughout the entire seminar, all 4 hours. Each time you see me go out and come back in, the first person to name all of the items that I have on differently will also receive an additional prize. Some of the prize consist of gift cards. Some of them consist of cash prizes. Some of them consist of additional consultation hours. So it just depends on, what we have available at the time. But each time I go out and I come back in, I'm going to have on something different. Your job is to put in the chat what I have on that's different. You got to name all the things that are different. Okay. And that, and the one that has the most of the answers that are correct will be the one that wins the prize. Even if we have duplicate winners, no problem. We have enough prizes so that we're able to do that. I want to thank all of our sponsors who are part of this event. I want to thank Global Touch Mortgage, Mr. Frank Brown, who's there. I want to thank several of the companies that have participated in this. I want to thank Public Research Inc. for their participation, America's Title. All of these are sponsors who made this possible. And so I want to say thank you. I want to say a special thanks to J Exotics. They are a company that specializes in cannabis and hemp and they natural herbs, and they are also one of the sponsors. So shout out to all of our participants. Want to say thank you to you. Here we go. First question from one of our viewers from previous seminars that we've done. And we've asked this question before. If you've gotten any of our recordings, you've seen it before. This one says, what are the initial steps to take when considering purchasing land? What are the initial steps to take when considering purchasing land? Anybody got an answer for that? I'm going to open it up and give you guys a chance to answer. And if I don't get a response, I'm going to go on with the next set of questions. Well, I'll give the answer first, and then we'll go on with the next set of questions. All right. So, and let me check something. I'm sorry. Let me check. I want to make sure that this is recording, because if not, we're going to have some problems. Let's make sure that we're recording. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Okay. I'm still checking to make sure that the recording is going on, and I don't see that that's happening. Okay, there it is. That was the proof that I needed that it was recording. All right, we can go on now. We can continue. So back to what we were talking about. I think everybody understands now what it is that we're doing. We're going to be talking about, firstly, some of the questions that we have in from our viewers, previous questions. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is how a person can use land in various ways. And one of those ways is to provide herbal antibiotics. Now, I know that's really interesting, and let me share it with you. I'm going to share my screen. So there are conferences that are held for herbal people who produce herbs, natural herbs. There are conferences that are provided for individuals that, and I don't know if you guys can see this on your screen or not. I'm not sure of what you're able to see. I'm not sure. I may stop sharing the screen until I can be certain what it is that you're seeing. How about that? I'll do that. But there are a list of things that are provided in terms of when you do herbal farming. Some of the things are herbal antibiotics. And what I wanted to do was show you a chart of how popular this is and how beneficial it is to own land so that you can grow things like garlic. You can grow things like cabbage. Sounds like nothing, but we're moving into an interesting time now. You can grow herbal antibiotics, things like cloves that are used for medicinal purposes, echinacea, things like oregano and marshmallow. All of these things can be grown, astragalus, which is a powerful herbal antibiotic. Anyway, this is something that we'll come back to, but that's one of the reasons why people purchase land, because they want to be self-sustaining. They want to have the opportunity to be able to grow their own produce. So the initial steps to considering purchasing land, firstly, is to do your research. Depending on the reason that you're purchasing land, you want to make sure that the market is going to be conducive for what you want to do on that land. Or you want to check the zoning requirements for what it is that you want to do with the land. Even if you want to buy land to build your home, you still want to check the zoning, because you'd be surprised how zoning can conflict with the type of property that you want to construct. Yeah, it's vitally important. So you want to do your research there, making sure that the land is located in a place that will be viable for what your intentions are. You also want to get surveys done, because you want to check the topography of the land when you're purchasing it. Now, remember, all of the things that I'm sharing with you, I'm sharing them for those who are interested in purchasing the land and they want to do everything themselves. Well, I want to be here to help you with initial information that you need to investigate, to research. But now, if the research becomes too hectic, too tedious, remember, I'm a licensed land professional. It's what we do here at National Land Realty. I'm a realtor with National Land Realty, and I'm also a licensed land title examiner. So my job is to examine the title of history of land. And as I've mentioned before, we can also commit to ensure the prior history of that land against any future claims regarding the prior history. So reach out to me in those ways. So with the information I'm sharing with you, you may say, yeah, I'm really interested, but this is a lot of information and I just don't have the time to do all of this myself. Well, I can help you. I can help you as a consultant. I can help you as a licensed realtor. We can enter into an agency agreement. But if you don't want that and you just want consulting along the way, I can also assist you with that as well. So, as we've mentioned, research is vital. Budgeting is very important because there are additional fees and taxes that are normally involved, and also legal fees and developmental fees, even if you just want to purchase the land for agricultural purposes. We're not even talking about monetizing, because later on in the seminar, we're going to talk about how to monetize your land without compromising your ownership. Oh, yeah, you really want that one. You'd be surprised how many ways. I mean, there are various ways that you can participate in land ownership. I mean, you can participate in monetizing your land. It's various ways. So you want to get in on that as well. But even before we get to that, you want to make sure that you look into the developmental costs, even if you are purchasing the land to grow agriculture for yourself. How about financing options? You want to research the financing options, and we're going to talk about those things today. We're going to talk about various grants, opportunities that are available for strictly for land purchase. Now, I don't know if a lot of you are aware of this, but conventional lenders don't often loan to people who want to buy strictly land. If you're just interested in purchasing land, trust me, I'm a land professional. I can tell you most conventional lenders will not do it. And we just discussed it earlier in this recording, but I'm going to say it again. When the land value outweighs the value of the improvement, the building, the house that's on the land, most lenders, conventional lenders, won't loan. But we've got some lenders that will loan on just land. They have a way to balance out the ratio of the improvement that's on the land versus the value of the land, and they will loan. We've got some lenders that will also loan for those who have credit or income issues in terms of verification, and they will loan to you as well. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to give some specific names of companies during this recording. You want to also, we're talking about the initial steps to take when considering purchasing land. Now, the questions that we'll be talking about are questions that have come in from previous seminars, and people who have attended the seminars have presented these questions, and I didn't have an opportunity to answer them. Now, if you've already been to some of our free seminars, then you may have heard these questions and seen the answers. The difference is that we're going to give more specifics during this time of recording. So, legal counsel, you want to consult a real estate attorney because you want to understand any legal implications that are in the title of that land, any restrictive covenants that may oppose what it is that you intend to do with the land. So you want to make sure that you consult legal counsel, whether it be a licensed title agency or your real estate attorney, but you want to reach out so that you can ensure that the transaction goes smoothly. You may have other owners that have vested interest in the property that you have, or it may be heir property. So you also want to get with legal counsel to make sure that everything has been taken care of in terms of those items. Now, let's talk about who finances land. Let's talk about the various entities that finance land. Okay, so first of all, we already know that not all loans, mortgage loans, or lenders are created equal. We know that. Specific loans are designed for purchasing land, and that has to do, again, with the value of the land versus the amount of the loan that's being extended. So when you talk about people who already own their homes, they may want to obtain equity financing. They may want to use the equity in their home that they already have to purchase land. That's not a very bad idea at all, because once you've purchased the land, you can refinance the land and take off the, pay off the loan that's encumbering your primary residence. So it's a way that you can do it, and it could be a seamless process. You use the equity in your home to buy the land. As soon as you close on the land, you refinance the land. And then once you refinance the land in that loan, you can utilize the proceeds to pay off the loan that you have used to encumber your current residence. Okay. If you want details on any of this stuff, because I'm trying to say it as briefly as possible, because we've got a lot of ground to cover. And now I know it seems like several hours, but remember, after 30 to 40 minutes recording, I'm going to stop. And then I'm going to convert that information into a recording for you. I'll download the digital information that has to do with that particular portion. And then I will prepare that in a link to send out to you. And then we'll come back in. You guys will be placed in a waiting room while I'm doing this. Then we'll come back in and we'll go to the next segment of the recording. So it's not a lot of time. It looks like a lot of time, but it's not. Because once we move on to another segment, we won't be coming back to the information we've already discussed. Okay, so another way that you can finance it is arrangements with the seller. I can tell you that I purchased land before, and the arrangements that I made, the financing arrangements, were directly with the seller, and it made it very beneficial to me and to the seller. We were able to work things out, close swiftly. Then I was able to refinance and pay off the seller. Let me tell you, it's a very ideal situation. If you want more details on that, you can reach out to me personally, and I can assist you with that as your buyer's agent. Or if you just want to solicit my assistance as a consultant, I can help you with that as well. I don't have to be your buyer's agent. I would like to be your buyer's agent. But if you just need consultation, I have a provision for that as well. But yeah, there are some sellers that will sell to you, and they will use some form of owner financing with some type of terminology in your purchase agreement that indicates that you are going to be paying them off within a certain amount of time. And you can then utilize the title to the land that you've just purchased to be able to refinance the land and pay off the seller. All right. So There are grants and subsidies that are available depending on whether you want to purchase the land for conservation purposes. There's financial assistance that's available depending on the purpose in which you want to purchase the land. If you want to purchase it for agricultural purposes, there's financial assistance for that. If you want to purchase it for conservation purposes, there is financial assistance for that. Now, remember, we're going to talk about details in this seminar. So I'm actually going to put certain links in the comment bar in the chat. Now, if you guys are watching me in Facebook Live, that means that you haven't actually registered for this seminar. So there's some things that you won't be privy to because you haven't registered for the seminar. However, I want to say to you that that's not a problem because you can still register. You can still register. So don't feel bad if you're not a part and you haven't registered. Just go to my Facebook feed and you'll see there one of the flyers that's advertising this seminar. You've got real estate and land title questions. We've got answers. Scan the QR code, get registered, come on inside of the Zoom, and you'll be privy to the links that are available in the Zoom for this specific information, like lenders that actually loan on land, like ways that you can actually get the seller to finance your land, and then you can refinance that land with certain lenders and pay the seller off. We've got grants that we're going to be showing links for in this Zoom that for certain conservation grants that they will loan you, financial assistance that you can be given through certain companies that encourage land ownership. Remember, you can buy land for various reasons. A lot of people are getting into agricultural now, but a lot of people are buying land just so that they can subdivide the land and have multiple streams of revenue coming in from that land, like from agriculture, people who want to lease your land for agriculture or livestock, people who want to lease your land for solar farming, others that want to lease a portion of your land, believe it or not, for telecommunication services. There are energy companies. There are several ways that you can buy land, subdivide it, and have revenue coming in from various parts of that land, multiple forms of revenue from that land as you subdivide it. So all kinds of ways that we're going to talk about in this seminar. You've got questions, we've got answers. And this seminar is going on now, and it's going to be going on all day today from 1 to 5. If you're watching me on Facebook Live, go to my Facebook feed, look for the flyer, scan the QR code, and register, because a lot of the information I'm putting in the chat. I'm putting the links in the chat for specific information. Okay, so let's talk about some of the lenders. Let me go ahead and copy this. I'm going to open it up and put it inside the chat. Everybody that's in here, tell me whether or not you can see this. Can y'all see that list of lenders? Okay, good. Okay, so that's a list of lenders that actually specialize in land lending. Listen, if you're on Facebook Live, you want to know who those lenders are? Go and register. Find that flyer in my Facebook feed, register. Go to Eventbrite, find the flyer, register. Get the link to Eventbrite. You've got real estate and land title questions. I've got answers. That's how it's entitled in Eventbrite. And you can register. It's not too late to register. Registration is still open. I think earlier it was closed. It is still open. Matter of fact, it'll be open even after today, even though the seminar ends today, because for everybody that registers, you get an email with all of this information that we're providing in the chat. All right. So you can see there's about 9 lenders that are available there in the chat. You guys see that? Okay. Those lenders specialize in loaning on land. Now, here's the thing. They are Farmer Mac approved lenders. Now, if you've got a lender that you normally do business with as it pertains to real estate, and your lender is not, their name is not listed on that, in that list, not a problem. Because here's what's going to happen. You guys can reach out to your lender, and if they are really interested in being a part, then what will happen is that we have another link whereby they can go to Farmer Mac. They can go to that website, and Farmer Mac will go through a questionnaire with them and add them to their list of approved lenders. That's right. Your lender who doesn't specifically make loans for just land can be added to the approved list of Farmer Mac, providing that they meet the guidelines. Oh, yeah, I told you we were going to provide specific information. Here's why it's important. So we're still talking about, well, why would I want to own land? I want to buy a house. Yeah, but here's what you need to understand. Markets are changing now. Times are changing. Dispensations are changing. What was popular when you were growing up and coming up, and all of the dreams that you set up that you were going to have in terms of owning residential real estate, is changing. So there are some things that you may want to do. There may be some issues that start to happen with produce. Maybe. I'm not predicting anything. I'm saying maybe. And you may decide, hey, I want to have a garden and vegetation in my backyard. Not every homeowner association would allow that. Or you may say, well, I don't live in an area where there's a homeowner association. Well, the issue is that your land may not be conducive for growing crops and vegetation. Your neighborhood may not be conducive for protecting the vegetation that you grow there. The authorities may not have provision in their local municipality that protects your vegetation that you grow in your backyard. So when you talk about certain things that you can do with in residential properties, you can't always do them what you can do on land, let's say rural land, that you could do in a residential neighborhood. So you may want to consider expanding. You may want to start looking more at current events. If you follow current events for the past 10 years, you'll understand why land ownership is becoming very prevalent right now. All right, so here we go. Farmer Mac. Farmer Mac is a company that's dedicated to making rural, agricultural, and land-only purchases and financing more accessible. It's specifically for American agricultural. If you want to purchase land to build your home, you want to purchase land to grow crops, you want to purchase land for financial reasons to monetize so that you can lease it to various entities and have non-performance income coming in from various places, you can do that. So as a secondary market for agriculture and rural infrastructure and that type of credit, Farmer Mac provides financial solutions on a broad spectrum to various customers, including agricultural lenders, land-only lenders, agribusinesses, rural electric corporations, and cooperatives. So what's happening is that there are a lot of lenders getting on board this thing because in conventional lending, they've not been able to loan to people who want to purchase land. Now, there is a large population. It's been figured that over 45% of real estate owners are landowners, and that market is increasing by 30% or has increased by 30% over the past 10 months. So what that means is that people are becoming more aware of how beneficial it is to own land. Just think about it. If you buy land in a rural area, you can have your home there. You can subdivide the land to have non-performance income coming into you. These agreements that are set up whereby you lease certain parts of your land for agriculture or energy purposes, these people sign these leases for a long term. So now you've got non-performance income coming in for a stated amount of time. It's an ideal way to have your cake and eat it because you've got your home on that land. You've subdivided and surveyed other property within your land that can be used for income production, and yet it won't encroach on the property that you have there that you're going to be living in. Farmer Mac is one of the companies that supports rural land financing. So how does it support? Well, firstly, it's a secondary market. So if you know anything about Lenders. Most of the lenders that you deal with, your mortgage bankers, even your mortgage department at your bank, a lot of them don't service that loan. They're going to sell it in the secondary market. Well, Farmer Mac helps to support in the secondary market. They created a secondary market for agriculture and for rural infrastructure credit, so that so much value is not just placed on the improvement or the house on the land, but also they give a greater value to the land itself, which means that if the house and the land, the 5 acres in the house is of a lesser value than the rest of the land, they will still loan the money and not at a reduced percentage. So you're looking at them being able to fuel and provide competitive access to financing. They're not the lender, but they provide that access to lenders that are interested. And what this does is it will fuel growth, innovation, prosperity in rural and agricultural communities. So now it's not so unpopular to move to these particular areas. Actually, it's becoming more and more popular to be in these particular areas. And so what I'm doing is trying to help you get out in front so that you're not a part of that great migration, because there's going to come a time when more people are going to be interested in purchasing land. What I want to do is help you get out in front of that so that you're already in your land, you're already growing your agriculture, you're already leasing your land to certain entities that you've already, so right now it's less competition. So people are chomping at the bits. Energy companies and other companies that want to lease a part of people's land, they are just always looking for people who are landowners who want to lease their land or who want to sell their land. You can get out in front of that. You can buy the land, and let's say you don't want to lease it. Let's say you want to sell it outright to an energy company. You can buy it at a certain amount and possibly sell it at a greater amount, producing an instant profit. It's the time to get out in front and do that while it's not as much competition, while not as many people are steered in this direction. And remember, I'm a licensed land professional and a licensed land title agent. I'm Jacqueline Battle with National Land Realty, and I am here to assist you in various ways. So one of the other questions that we had someone to ask is, what are the common types of land loans available through Farmer Mac? So let's talk about that. So are y'all understanding? Let me stop for a second and just make sure I don't have any questions in the chat. Okay. Somebody's raising their hand. Okay, so what you're saying is that you don't understand specifically the purpose of Farmer Mac and how does it benefit you. Okay, so in the past, maybe over 10, 15 years ago, it was almost, unless you went to the bank and got a farm loan, it was very hard to buy, 10, 15, 20, 30 acres or plus of land, especially if the house and 5 acres was worth less than the majority of the land. You weren't going to be able to get financing. So now Farmer Mac is making that available. And the way that they're doing it is that they're extending credit and financing to lenders who want to loan and are willing to make these land loans. They're protecting them against loss and providing them with the financing that they need as a lender to back them to make the loan to us, to the public. So I'm hoping that helps you understand. If it doesn't, raise your hand again and we'll go into more details. Or if you have more specific question, then I can answer it. Okay, I'm going to go on. All right, so the question that we were about to address is, what are some common types of land loans available through Farmer Mac? So farm and ranch loan purchases. So let's say you want to buy land. And again, I want to mention, thank you so much to one of our sponsors, J Exotics. It is a company. Matter of fact, I'm going to go on Facebook and get their link and put it in the chat, because they specialize in cannabis and hemp and other products similar. And of course, farming is great for that. Farming is excellent for that now. And there are also some companies that they specialize in that type of farming, and they will lease your land from you to grow certain product on your land. So various ways. So this farm and ranch loan purchase financing, it's easier to get refinancing if you already own the land. But if you want to buy the land for farming and ranch purposes, these type loans that are supported by Farmer Mac will help you finance the land that you want to purchase for farm and ranch loan purchases. Also, there are USDA guaranteed loans. USDA guaranteed loans that will support the purchase of rural development. And we're going to later on get into some of the guidelines, the credit guidelines from USDA and what they require in order for you to qualify for those loans. Also for wholesale financing. So they provide liquidity to lenders through the purchasing of loans. So let's say, again, we talked about if your lender is not loaning right now, they're not loaning on land, but you want to purchase land, and the lender the bank that you normally deal with, they're not making those types of loans. It's okay, because what will happen is that Farmer Mac, if you send your lender the link that's in the chat right now, they can go to the site for Farmer Mac and answer the questionnaire and provide the supporting documentation to become one of the approved lenders for Farmer Mac. So your lender that already is a mortgage lender or a mortgage bank, but they don't loan to land because they don't have anyone to wholesale it to. They don't have an underwriter for it. Farmer Mac will become their wholesaler. They'll become their underwriter, and they will underwrite them and support them in financing land. Okay, so I hope that's something that will help you. Also, they provide for lenders to give custom tailored financial solutions that will meet specified needs. So let's say you want to purchase land, but you only have a certain percentage that you want to pay down, and the seller wants to support you by financing a certain percentage of it. Well, that's not allowed on certain conventional loans. But with Farmer Mac, they'll tailor the type of loan that specifies what you need to purchase that land, because they are aggressively supporting people who want to buy land. They're not going to loan directly to you, but they will make the financing available to the lender and protect the lender's liability that may be involved. Okay. All right. One of the other questions, let's see. All right. How can land be used as an investment? We've talked about this on previous recordings, but I'm going to answer it again because someone has asked the question, and it's not from the same recording. So it could be that you guys missed it from prior to. I also want to make sure that you're seeing in the chat all of these links that we're putting in, that you're seeing the link that has all of the lenders' names listed in it. You're seeing the link for Farmer Mac. You're seeing the link that can help your lender get approved to become one of the Farmer Mac lenders. Just let me know if you're not seeing it. If you're not seeing it, I will make provisions to make sure that you're seeing it in the chat. Now, if you're on Facebook, you're not going to see it. If you want this detailed information, go ahead and find the flyer that's on my Facebook feed under Jacqueline Battle or Battle Jacqueline. Scan the QR code and register in Eventbrite so that you can now join us here in this Zoom, and you'll be privy to all of the information that I'm sharing in the chat. How can land be used as an investment? Okay, well, let's talk about renting out the land for agricultural purposes. Renting out the land for agricultural purposes. Y'all, I got to have some good. Y'all know I love my tea. If you've been in the seminars that I do or the courses that I teach on Sunday evenings, you know I'm going to be drinking my tea. So y'all excuse me. Nothing like a good old cup of tea. Okay. renting out the land for agricultural use and other purposes. Okay, so do I need to provide details for this? I know we've talked about this before. Let me see. Give me a show of hands real quick of those who are interested in details on this. Okay. All right, I see. Okay. That is enough for us to go ahead and talk about it. Because I know a lot of you are on here on the Zoom and you want to hear stuff that you already haven't already heard in the classes that I teach. So that's why I'm trying to be sensitive to the people that I know have been here all along every Sunday, and also be sensitive to the ones who have registered for this event. So when we talk about being able to rent out your land for agriculture use or other purposes, let's talk about this. Let's say you own 30 acres of land. You're gonna survey a parcel of 5 acres that has your home on it. So we'll have your home and 5 acres of land. You'll have a survey company to come in to plot that out. Okay. So with you having the 5 acres of land and the home or the improvement on that land, that leaves you with 25 acres of land. Well, not necessarily 25 acres, because you've got land in between. So let's say 23 acres of land that you can work with. Okay, so you can have the surveyor to subdivide those 23 acres of land into smaller plots. Firstly, you can sell those plots for more and make more money. But when you sell them, you want to sell them to companies that want to use that land for agricultural purposes. They want to use that land for livestock. They want to use it for energy purposes. Or instead of selling it, you can produce continual non-performance income. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you can lease it to a variance of companies. You can lease this plot to this company, a particular company who maybe wants 10, 15 acres for energy purposes, solar farming. Or you can take a portion of that land and use it yourself for solar farming and sell the energy to a particular community. Mm-hmm. There are some companies that may want to lease your land for developing and subdividing. They may want to lease it, sell, they may want to buy it for that purpose. Some companies may want you to participate in conservation programs whereby they'll pay you incentives to preserve the natural resources that's on that land. And so for a portion of that land that you've subdivided, you can lease to them for that purpose. So you can lease it to various companies at the same time as you subdivide it, and you create a way for them not to encroach, impeding on someone else's property as they utilize it for the purpose in which they intended. So I'm hoping that helped you and created more help than it did confusion. That's my purpose, to be able to help you to understand the multiple ways that you can use it. Okay, now in this link, since we've talked about conservation companies that are willing to and programs that are available that will pay you, I'm going to go ahead in the chat and put the link to the conservation companies and their programs that you can sign your land up for, or you can look into if you want to purchase land for that reason. Then you can reach out to them and they can tell you whether or not your land will specifically be beneficial for that type of conservation program and what they pay for that. Okay, I think we are getting to a point of where we're going to stop, because remember, we are going to do this for maybe 30 to 40 minutes at a time. And then we'll be stopping so that we can be able to download this and convert it for recording purposes. So I think this may be a good stopping point for us to see how long have we been going. Not very long. Yeah, This is probably a good point. When we come back in, we're going to be talking about the credit qualifying criteria for land loans, the credit qualifying criteria for land loans. And most of this information I'm going to put in the chat. So we're going to talk about it, but I'm also going to put it in the chat. It'll also be in the digital download that you receive, the written digital download, so that if somehow you're missing some of the information in the video, you'll have it in the digital download. Will look like a little booklet, a little digital book, and you'll be able to go through, and all of this information that I'm sharing with you will be in that digital download. So I am going to pause the live, in the live, and I am going to go over to the Zoom that we're doing and stop the Zoom, download this recording, come back to the Zoom. You guys that are in the Zoom are going to be placed in a waiting room. Yeah, you'll be placed in a waiting room. And that will enable you to be able, that will enable you with everything that you need to be able to come back in. Now, I think the Facebook has only been going on for 12 minutes. So I think I can probably pause the Facebook. Let's see. Yeah, I can pause the Facebook. Okay, here we go. Again, I want to tell y'all, thank you so much. I am enjoying being able to be of assistance to you guys. We're going to end this and we'll come back. Thank you.